Hello, my fellow people. Welcome to the party. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome here for the first time. No matter when you're watching this, I appreciate you being here. And today we're going to talk about letting go of attachment. And this really is a big key to creating things consciously, to manifesting, to conscious creation, to calling in your desires. And maybe you've heard of this term in words like surrender, letting go, non-attachment, let it go, right? Send it up to the universe, right? Decide it's done. And this piece matters because, let me explain why. So, when you first watched the movie The Secret, I think most of you probably have or have heard about it, they talk about manifesting small things, right? Start off manifesting a cup of coffee. Start off manifesting a parking spot. Start off manifesting a butterfly or a specific symbol, right, in your day. And why is that? Because we don't have a lot of resistance connected to these items. Most of us believe 100% we can experience having a cup of coffee every day. Most of us experience the belief that I could see a butterfly. Sure, that's in the realm of possibility. I could, see a bird. I could get a parking spot. It's happened to me before, right? We have a very low level of resistance around those smaller things, right? And that's why it works. That's why it's a good, starting place and a good stepping stone to realize, hey, I am the creator of my reality. Now, where this can get sticky and a little bit more difficult for people is when we try to expand beyond that, when we try to be like, okay, well, I've seen that I can consciously create things I focus on, like a cup of coffee, like a penny on the ground, right? Maybe pennies aren't as easy to find these days, right? But you know what I mean. We're like, okay, cool. I can create my own reality. All right, now I'm going to try it on something I really care about, right? Now I'm going to consciously create a soulmate. Now I'm going to consciously create six figures. Now I'm going to consciously create, the body of my dreams, right? That's where we can trip up a little bit and people go, oh, well, this doesn't work. Manifestation doesn't work. This is all hooey, it's BS, because I've tried to manifest this thing in the same way I did asking for the cup of coffee and it hasn't happened yet. Now, for some people, it will happen in a similar way because they already have beliefs and energy around that subject that supports it, right? If you've already manifested soulmates in the past, you're going to feel confident that you can do it again, most likely, right? If you've already manifested six figures in the past, you're going to feel pretty confident you can do it again. However, if you're somebody who had toxic, terrible relationships in the past, you're likely going to have some inner work done around you creating, the soulmate. Or if you've had financial pain, trauma, grew up in lack and scarcity, couldn't pay bills for a large portion of your life, you're going to end up probably having to do work around money, most likely, right? 9 times out of 10. And I know I certainly have, right? So having attachment to things comes especially when you have a high level of resistance to things. Resistance meaning beliefs, ideologies, energy that is opposing what you want, right? So resistance encompasses anything under that category of thoughts, feelings, energy, behaviors that go against what you're saying you want to call in, right? So attachment often comes into play as one of the biggest factors in resistance. And if you can lower your need to have something in your life, your need to create something in your life, you'll most likely create it very easily, okay? And what I mean is this: when you're like, okay, I want to create a soulmate. I want to find my person. I want to find the person I'm going to be with and ride off into the sunset and have a really beautiful life experience together with, right? When you are like, that's what I'm going to do, often we have a need for this because it is a large desire, because it's something you want so badly. The idea of not getting it is painful. The idea of, oh my God, there's a possibility I couldn't have my soulmate. Oh my God, what if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't come together for me? Or insert money, whatever your desire is, right? Especially these so-called big things, these big life goals. Maybe it's having a child, right? Maybe it's becoming a millionaire. Maybe it's, whatever, owning your first home, right? And it doesn't really matter what they are, because we all have our different perspectives and our different ideas of what's easy and what's not based on our life experiences, right? And conditioning. So it's not about judging yourself on this, but just being aware. So I want you to think about that thing that you've been trying to manifest for a while, right? What is that thing that you're like, man, that would just make my life if I could create this? And you've been trying to maybe affirm it, maybe, script it, maybe visualize, and things just aren't happening. Well, I want you to tune into your level of the need, right? What's your level of attachment? What's your level of need to have this in your life, right? What is that? Okay. And I want you to kind of tune in on a scale of 0 to 10. Like, how much do I need this to happen? Right? 0 to 10. How strong is that? I need this to happen. This has to happen for me to be happy, for me to feel whole, for me to feel complete, for me to feel worthy, deserving, right? How bad do you need it? And if it's a pretty high number, 8, 9, 10, you want to soothe that, because that is like a gripping energy. It's an energy of like need, right? And think about the easy way to explain this isn't dating, back to the dating references. If you're dating someone and you just met and you're like kind of vibing, but then they're like, oh, I need to see you tomorrow. And you're like, oh, well, I'm busy tomorrow. Like, I'm whatever. Like, oh no, I need to see you. Like, I need your number. I need to be around you. And they're calling you and they're texting all the time and it's way too much, right? You can feel that like, oof, like energy, right? And it like repels you away from that person because you're like, this is too much too soon. Like, you're doing the most, like, back off, right? This is kind of what we do to our desires that we really desperately want, right? The things that we are like, oh my God, that'd make my life, right? The soulmate, the career, the money, the child, the house, right? These usual typical things. It can be anything else, but those are usually the categories. It's like, oh my God, I need this to happen to make my life complete, right? And it's like, you get to have anything that you desire. You get to have anything that you want, right? That's not up for discussion here. But the more you need it to happen, the more you're likely pushing it away energetically. It's like you have that, right? Your desire is kind of like running away from you a little bit, right? So to speak, because you're so like, come here, I need you to complete me. I need you to like be in my life where I'm not going to be happy or fulfilled or worthy, or I'm going to be miserable and die alone. Like, I need you, right? This is what we do subconsciously, energetically, to our desires that we really hold at the highest regard. So I want you to ask yourself, why do I need this to happen? Right? What does it mean about me if I don't achieve this or receive this or experience this? What does it mean about me? Right? And I've had to do this exercise many times and continue to do it. And it came up again today, and that's why I'm bringing it to you, because when it affects me, it's usually necessary to talk about it in the collective too. So what does it mean about me if I don't create this in my life? If I don't create the money, if I don't create the relationship I desire, if I don't create the lifestyle, if I don't create the home, whatever it is. And write down the list. Usually it means, okay, maybe I'm a failure. I'm unworthy. I'm a loser. I will die alone. I will be lonely. I'll be miserable, right? And if you get anything that isn't an emotion, I want you to keep asking until you get an emotion, right? So it's like, okay, if I don't make $1 million, I won't be able to buy the boat and the house and whatever, right? Okay, well, why does that matter? Oh, well, it matters because I won't be able to have the fun that I want to have. I won't be able to have the life experiences that I want to have. Okay, well, why does that matter if you don't have the fun and life experiences you want to have? Well, that means that I'm a loser, or that means that I'm miserable, right? I want you to get to a feeling eventually. So ask yourself why until you get to an emotional state. And that really is the issue here. It's not about the outward thing. It's what that means to you or about you. And then really it's about softening that meaning. So my example today, I had, the feeling of, well, I'm not worthy. If this thing doesn't happen, it's proving to me that I'm not worthy. If this thing doesn't happen, it's proving to me that I'm a failure, right? And so it's really like questioning that and being like, well, the only person who determines, or entity that determines how worthy I am, is myself, right? Even if an angel came down from the sky and was like, Katiwa, you're not worthy. God told me to tell you you're not worthy, right? Which is insane. That would never happen. But let's say that was the truth, right? I'd be like, okay, that hurts. Ouch, right? Ouch. But at the end of the day, I decide if I'm worthy or not. Not my parents, not my peers, not my friends, not even God. I decide if I am worthy or not. And that's a story that I would tell myself if I didn't receive this thing. So can I tell myself a different story? Can I tell myself that I am worthy, regardless if this never happens? And the answer is yes. So that soothed that energy, right? Or the other one, I'm a failure. Okay, well, is it actually true that if I don't create this thing in my life, I'm a failure? Right? It's like, well, if that truly isn't for you and it's not going to happen for you, maybe it's working out in your favor. Maybe it's not you being a failure, it's you being on your path. Maybe this thing wasn't on your path to begin with. It was never meant to be yours in the first place. So this is actually happening for your highest good, right? Also, the only way that you can truly fail is if you just give up, right? That to me is the ultimate failure, is not trying, is not putting yourself out there, is not even making an attempt to better your situation or change your life. That to me is true failure, right? Like if I'm on my deathbed at, 100 years old and I'm like, well, God damn it, I tried, right? At least I can say I tried versus I'm like, oh man, I was so filled with fear and anxiety and self-doubt that I never even tried. Like that to me would be a worse fate than I tried and I so-called failed. I didn't make it, right? So these are some things that you can start telling yourself and playing with to help release the energy around this. A lot of the time, when it comes to maybe business, I've seen people say, well, if I don't make these sales or if I don't build this business to the level that I want to, it means I'm a failure because I can't provide for my family or I can't provide for myself. And it's like, okay, well, if this is true, right? We want to actually go to like the root here. So if this actually was true that you couldn't make this happen, that this business failed or this venture failed, and you feel like a failure because you can't provide for yourself or your kids, like, well, you could get a job. Like, that you could get a job, right? That you, like, even if you hated it and it was a shitty job and whatever, right? It's possible for you to get a job and to make income. So it's not actually true that you wouldn't be able to provide it in some way for your family or show up in some way for yourself. Maybe it wouldn't be the way that you want to or the ideal way, but you still can. So do you see how this soothes the energy around it? And then once you're at a level of 3 or 4 on the scale of needing things to happen, you'll relax. You'll be able to let go more, surrender, let go more, which just means stop gripping it so tightly, right? I've heard this saying before and it's very true. It's to be in the sweet spot, to create, to manifest, you have to care, but not that much. Okay? You have to care, but not that much. It has to be something you desire, right? Desire fuels change and creation and all those things, but you can't care too much to the point where you're pushing what you want away from yourself. You're choke holding it, right? It's I love you so much. And it's you're choking it, stop choking it, you're killing it, right? That kind of energy. So really it's about when you feel needy and desperate energy and this has to happen, you're coming from a place of this has to happen to fulfill me, right? This has to happen to make things okay in my world. And you truthfully don't need anything to make you happy or feel whole or feel worthy. You truthfully don't. Is it always easy? No. It takes practice to be unconditional more of the time and to be I can actually tune into those emotions without having to have anything change in my reality. That's a fact. You truly can. And how this has worked in my life is, I've had times where I've been so frustrated around signing clients, for example, or I really wish a client would come into my business, whatever, right? And every time, I swear, every time I let go of it and I'm okay, just relax. Okay, if nobody works with you this week, whatever, I would, tell myself a story and truly relax around it and let go of needing a client to come into my world. Literally within 30 minutes to a couple hours, a client would be in my inbox. Every time I truly let go and surrendered, it happened because I was no longer blocking that desire, right? Same thing with my relationship, right? So before this partnership, I had some okay relationships, but they weren't anything to write home about, right? And it certainly wasn't what I wanted to spend my whole life, who I wanted to spend my whole life with. And I knew that even when I was with them back then, right? But this time it's different. The partner I have is different. The partner I have is the partner that I wanted, the qualities that I wanted, right? And that happened because I truly was okay with being single. Like, after I had a bad breakup, I worked on myself, I healed, I shifted how I felt about myself, I grounded into what I deserved, what I felt I was worthy of, and I wasn't going to accept any less, right? But I also told myself, like, this is what I want, and like, this can happen in a year or 2 or 3, I'm cool with that. And I was like, in the next year, I'm totally going to just enjoy my life, spend time with my girls, maybe do some traveling, focus on work, focus on building my business. That's what I'm going to do, right? I declared that, but I actually meant it. It wasn't something I was just saying to the universe to trick the universe. I actually meant it, right? And then sure enough, literally 3 months later, I was in a relationship with my partner. And I was like, oh, well, my year of, hot girl summer went down the drain, right? But that's what happens when you totally are desiring it, but being okay with it not being there. That's really what it is. Being okay with it not being there right now. And you get at it by doing the exercise that I did to soften those reasons that you need it so badly, right? And then watch things just fly into your life so fast your head will spin. And it's a simple concept. It isn't always easy to implement, but that's why you got to keep coming back to the work, right? It's the work. Just keep coming back to the work, right? Just keep doing the work. Keep asking these questions. Keep soothing your energy. Keep, molding it into a better feelings place. And then you'll be able to let go and just enjoy and be present in your life. And that's when things just drop in. Always. It works literally like magic. So that is the video for today. If you're wondering why my tongue is yellow, I just had a turmeric latte earlier. So that is why I have a yellow tongue right now. It's very, turmeric obviously, as you know, is very has a very dyeing effect on anything it touches. So my tongue was affected by that. But I thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear what your thoughts were. If you have any, breakthroughs from this concept, come back, comment, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. If you want to work with me one-on-one, there's a link in my description box to help you find out how to do that. And I just wish you guys all the love, all the success, all the things that are on your path for your highest good. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.